This is the recording of pages 295 to 297. The Athenian Way. Athens became the largest and most populous of the Greek city-states, a great center of the arts, learning, and trade. Its people were known for their energy and zest for life. Myth may have made Athens the city of Athena, but it still owed much to Poseidon, the lord of the sea. Sheltered from its rivals by mountains to the north, it was protected on the other direction by the waters of the Aegean. Yet the sea was also a channel of communication. Along with the trade that made the city prosper, the sea drew to Athens a constant flow of people and ideas. Unlike the Spartans, the Athenians embraced new ways of thinking about the world. Free speaking and freedom loving, they enjoyed nothing better than debating ideas, declaring their views, and arguing politics. The unlaconic Athenians loved to tell anyone who would listen just what was on their minds. Like other city-states, Athens was ruled by rich aristocrat landowners for much of its early history. But as overseas trade increased in the 7th century BC, the new wealth often went to men who were outside the ruling classes. Not surprisingly, these rich merchants, craftsmen, and bankers wanted some political power for themselves. The poor were discontent and restless as well. Struggling farmers who went into debt risked being sold into slavery. Riots often erupted. Powerful leaders rose up, challenging the aristocratic rule. The rulers of Athens knew that the pressure for change was too great to be ignored. So in 594 BC, they charged one of their own, a wise aristocrat named Solon, with the task of reforming the government. Solon set about weakening the aristocracy's stranglehold on power. He permitted the wealthy merchants of Athens to hold positions in government. He said all citizens were entitled to participate in a body to decide the laws. This governing body became known as the assembly. Solon also set up people's courts with juries. And to ease the plight of the poorest farmers, he ended the practice of enslaving debtors. Solon was a great traveler. One day, according to the historian Herodotus, he appeared in the court of Croesus, a king in Asia Minor. Croesus, it was said, was the richest man in the world. "Now tell me," Croesus demanded, "you have journeyed far and seen much. Who is the most fortunate man you have ever met?" Solon did not pause. "Why, Tellius of Athens," he replied. Croesus was shocked. Who was this Tellius? Who could be more fortunate than Croesus himself, with all his great wealth and luxury? Solon explained. Tellius had been a free citizen of Athens. His sons were brave and honest, and they had given him many fine grandchildren. Then, after a long and happy life, Tellius had died heroically in battle. He had been fighting in defense of his fellow Athenians, who remembered him with honor and gratitude. What more could any man want? Solon greatly reformed Athens though problems still remained. For example, the aristocrats continued to own nearly all of the land. But thanks to this one great lawgiver, seeds of change had been planted. In the years ahead, they would send up strong shoots and flower in memorable ways. Demos has its day. Solon was a noble who thought power should not be in the hands of nobles alone. This wise aristocrat was a friend of the demos, the Greek word for the common people. But Solon was not the only Athenian aristocrat to take such a stand. After several decades of turmoil following Solon's death, another Athenian statesman made important changes. His name was Clisthenes. Clisthenes. Clisthenes, too, was of noble birth, but his family had experienced exile and hardship at the hands of other powerful aristocrat clans. Clisthenes believed the secret to a better Athens was a less aristocratic Athens, fewer powerful families, and more powerful citizens. In the year 508 BC, Clisthenes designed for Athens its first democratic constitution. He wanted to ensure that all citizens were represented in the assembly and other governing bodies of Athens. Clisthenes is widely regarded as the founder of Athenian democracy. Democracy means rule by the people. And for the Athenians, who loved talking and debating as much as the Spartans enjoyed fighting, this was a wonderful gift. Now, all Athenian citizens, rich and poor alike, could make a speech and vote at the assembly. No longer restricted to gossiping in the agora, the citizens of Athens could attend the assembly and freely give voice to their views and concerns. Should a law be changed? Should the state go to war? Was a particular leader gaining too much power? Any citizen who wished could stand up and say his piece. Politics had become the business of every man, not just the wealthy or the aristocrats, the privileged few. Athens had given the world its first democracy. While Spartans relied on oligarchy and military might, the Athenians embraced the rule of the people. In the centuries ahead, this young democracy would inspire all who sought liberty. But first, Athens had to face severe challenges. In the 5th century BC, like a dark cloud over the waters of the Aegean, a new threat loomed over Athenian democracy. The armies of the powerful Persian Empire were moving west. How democratic was Athenian democracy? By modern-day standards, Athenian democracy was limited. Women, slaves, and many foreigners were not citizens. They could not join the assembly, vote, or hold public office. But by the standards of the ancient world, Athenian democracy was remarkable. Compared to other political systems of the time, it granted a voice and a vote not to just the rich or the well-born, but to ordinary men. That's the end of the reading pages 295 to 297.